Welcome back, extraordinaires. It's ZM here, and today we're going to make this video. Gen Z man, stop ranting about the same thing over and over again like a crybaby. Now, I'm making this video because I find it very stupid that I keep seeing all these videos out here, especially as a guy in the success circle, about like, I'm 20 and life sucks, I'm da da da, and life sucks, da 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 da, the same video, and there's no trials or tribulations. It's all about, high school and stuff like that. And honestly, I'm sick of seeing the same goddamn video when it's 2026 now, and we should be moving on and having discipline and progress. All right, guys? And I'm gonna give real advice to back up my points, and then have some points as well, because this is really pissing me off, and this type of content needs to stop because it's stupid, and I hate for especially that it's being pushed towards younger Gen Z and Gen Alpha. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, guys. So the first thing I notice is that the guys making these videos are not people who should be any sort of authority on anything. For example, they claim to talk about a lot of the trends that are going on now, like this whole looks thing, or, just like buying normal clothes, which is something, I just learned on. I didn't need like any internet trends. But they claim to have learned these trends early on, right, years ago. And I look at their videos, and they've been stuck in the same situation for years, like just years and years. And I'm like, hold on, what? And then to make it even worse, they make videos like, successful men will go through these signs of jealousy, and they're sitting there in a 1920s Pontiac Aztec, talking, this nonsense. They're and they go on these things I like to call side quests to nowhere, where they'll be like, I'm starting my new job, or I'm starting this adventure and that adventure, and then years later, they're still ranting about the same stuff. So first of all, at some point, guys, just like you guys said about the feminist, you guys got to look and realize, okay, this problem is myself. I'm the one who caused this, because there are way too many of these videos, and it's so many of them. And the reason that these guys, they don't catch on, or they're not doing good content or anything like that, is, well, number one, a lot of you guys give money to these idiot guru course kids, who I'm going to get into later. And number two, it's just the same stuff. It's not even unique. It's the same stuff. And all the time when I'm seeing these videos, I always see the social one shot. And that's where one bad experience makes you like a huge drop in self-esteem, and you guys do not want to socialize ever again. And this is being promoted, especially to where I noticed to, and they'll even discuss the stuff like, uh, because I wasn't accepted into this social group when I was 14 years old. You younger guys, if you don't get into a social group, your life is over. You can't make any money. I'm such a loser. Like, shut up. Just shut up. And stop projecting that stuff onto other Gen Z men as well, because that really just pisses me off, right? And these problems, and what I noticed is that these guys have an issue like just standing up for themselves, or responding to like a situation. And guys, I'm gonna say something. You're not unique because you got tested or whatever, and you will go through this stuff forever. And I'm gonna tell a story that I believe I've told before. When I was in Cleveland, I was going to a really nice place, right? It was pretty late, and I just wanted to go get a drink. So I sat there. I saw an 80-year-old dude, and he was testing like someone around my age, just making like little jokes, right? And at him. And this is an 80-year-old dude doing that. And I'm gonna tell you another story. So I went to a Mexican bar, and I was drinking and everything. It was a pretty cool night. And out of the blue, like, the person I'm talking to, like, this girl comes in, right, with her other friend, and she starts like, I guess she knew this older dude was there, and she started like teasing him like, oh, do you have a crush on so and so, like, as a grown man. So like, guys, either you figure out how to respond to this stuff and ignore. Like, obviously, if girls are joking around or something like that, I don't know why these guys get so freaking offended. I find it very pathetic, and, just to act like that. But if somebody, is like testing you, like an old dude or something like that, well, number one, if it's an older dude, you should try to diffuse it with humor, or you can be like my brother. Because my brother told me it doesn't matter if the person's 8 or 80, you got to respond. You got to go in guns blazing. But yeah, oh, okay. Now again, not literally. I'll say that because again, this is a messed up world. People are going around grilling people up. But my point is, if you don't learn that lesson now, to anybody younger watching that, you literally will deal with this forever. And you got to find a system so that, you build that mental pattern. And then all of a sudden, you know how to respond, to that interaction. You know how to respond to that situation. Another thing I want to say is making these stupid videos instead of making progress, you fall behind more on the curve, right? And what I mean by that is, it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, or whatever. There is a curve on everything, and there are some experiences that you have to go through, right? Like, I became like when I found out I was socially savvy. This was when I got invited to something when I was 19 years old, and it was ran by like a bunch of people, and I went there and I would just talk to this group of girls. I guess one of the girls in the group liked me. And right off the bat, the brother of the dude throwing the thing comes. And I guess he gets really angry, bro. And he starts to just come over, like, and he just starts to, try to antagonize me really angrily. And I just told him to his face, I said, bro, you need to calm down. I don't even know who you are. I can talk to who I want. And I stood up for myself right then and there. Like, I just got, like, a lot of respect. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. When you guys are just taking yourselves out of these situations, you don't know how you're going to respond, right? Like something completely good can come out of you naturally, right? Because everyone thinks, oh no, what if I say the wrong thing? Well, the right thing can also happen too. And the older you get, especially these guys in their 20s, I have to keep saying this, you fall further and further behind on the curve. Like, when I started making the dean's list and I was like at a 3.7 GPA and stuff, when I was in college and stuff like that, one of the main reasons that I think really prevented me from getting to a 4.0 before I wanted was the study habits, because I was always a super good test taker. And obviously, when you go on to like 14 and a half schools, you got to test into 14 and a half, 12 and a half, 13 and a half, whatever you guys want to say, you kind of get complacent. But there were times where I was like, if I would have known this study habit earlier, and I talked to some of my very academic inclined friends, they're like, yeah, I learned this, when I was like 14 or 15 or 16, but here I am in college, I was behind on that curve. There is a curve for everything. And again, I hear people always talking about height, right? So I remember this was the same dude who had the super attractive sister out in Orange County and everything. And pretty much what was going on is he was telling me, and this dude, like, he had the movie star type of look, and he was telling me, like, he didn't really get an act because everyone was saying, yo, you could be a great actor, and he didn't really get into it, and, like, he got replaced on something he was doing from, like, a dude who was, like, a lot shorter than him because he was behind on the curve, right? And when you guys are making these videos, just know you're falling behind on that curve. And it could be for your career. And once you fall too far behind on that curve, or you unlock, the experiences that show your talents, because sometimes these social adversities, like I said earlier, they show your very, very true talents. You're not going to have a chance to get those back. So you really need to think before you sit there or you lay down all day, or you sit there and, you just make these stupid videos. You need to think, is this really what I want to do? Like, do I really want to give this all up? Do I want to fall behind on the curve? And the curve, it could be anything. It could be dating. It can be career. It could be literally even, eating like it could be literally a candy eating contest. Literally, like you find out you have sensitive teeth and you can't do it. And, you could have gotten, that fixed earlier on, right? But you waited just laying down. I know that's a super fun scenario, but the more you make these videos, the more you do, you fall behind on the curve, right? Mhm. And my next thing about why these videos are so stupid, and this is going to be kind of a hot take, is that they're so projected. It's so much projecting. You know what I mean? It's so much projecting on other individuals and other people and other generations, because this is a Gen Z specific issue, right? Because for example, my brother, he was telling me like what it was like when he was on the internet and everything, and that during that millennial time there were forums and stuff for everyone, and the internet, everyone kind of had their own place. So like all of this like whole debate thing wasn't really going on. Like he said, like it was possible for some of the worst debates. You would see comments replied hours later. I go on Twitter, I see people, who are verified, and follow me on Twitter by the way, but people who are verified, right? And they'll be going back and forth and be responding in 2 to 3 minutes. And my brother told me that's pretty new. So all of these issues you're talking about on the internet, a lot of these are just, new to Gen Z, right? They're new to Gen Z. They're not on everyone. And then not everyone, is like depressed or, fighting or, got a addiction to content that they shouldn't, or, paying for course kids, or, just having a bad life, or, can't take care of themselves. And that's what a lot of these videos project. And I'm sick of seeing that, as somebody who, like I said, I've had some tough times before. Like, I know what you guys are going through in some areas, you know what I mean? And it's like, but it's like, man, I'm fine really overall. You know what I mean? Like, I've overcome stuff. I've never had this mindset to where, something I didn't like in high school would take me out. Like, I would rather, and my brother's the same way, we would rather be in the ground than have something like that happen. And my brother told me, like, bro, everything that he wanted in high school to happen, it sort of happened. But even he, like, at the end, he went through like a very, annoying experience. So, guys, you guys cannot be making these stupid videos of them projecting this stuff on everybody. Cause like, bro, I didn't go through that. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had like a bad day and just wanted to like lay down and wanted to make a think piece on society about that, right? Because a lot of people, we always mock traditional media for like annoying think pieces on a celebrity's like pinky toe or something stupid like that. But a lot of these videos, about society, it's the same exact stuff. It's not innovative, and the stories don't even make sense. One of these videos had, it had plus story with it. There's not even a story there. Come on, guys. You can't be having a continuity error in a video about your own life, right? And, this is really all I really want to say. Gen Z, man, stop making the same video like an idiot. Just stop doing it. Grow up, guys, please. There is so much good stuff going on. Don't project your nonsense on others. And like I said, some of these lessons you have to learn. If you do not learn them, you're going to fall behind on that curve. It happens to everybody. And that's going to be on you, right? Because you put yourself years behind, it's not going to take 2 seconds to get out of it. I don't care who you are, all right? So, yeah, guys, so it's been ZM. Thank you for watching Extraordinaires, and see ya, yeah, and make the world a great place.